imagine pressing a button.
Yeah, no, it's almost like that's how you start podcasts. Speaking of which, we have pressed the button. So, welcome everyone to yet another episode where three bearded weirdos from Manchester talk a load of shite. And you're blessed today, for those on video, because you get to see Liam almost being full beanbag.
Almost. Some hair showing.
Yeah, it's just a little bit, a little tuft at the front, just to show that you're still, well, not bald. But how are we, gentlemen? We've recovered from our very odd armoury.
Not too bad, yeah. It was a good armoury, an odd one, but for us, but good. I mean, odd because we all played heroes we had no normal reason to play. So,
if anything, heroes we've often had a rather large dislike of.
I mean, that's not true for Liam. I don't think he's ever had a great distaste for Icelander.
I do now.
He does now, yes. It hasn't helped him, but
no. But I have often said I do not like Runeblades.
Yeah, you made those.
Played Briar, and I think Briar knew that I wasn't a fan of it by refusing to get Channel Mount Heroics. But anyway, less on that. And then you, for some reason, decided that Bravo was the.
Don't know what you mean. I deny it. Deny it all.
Did you?
I mean, technically, you didn't choose his hero. I did.
That is true. I said I would play Guardian and then made Liam choose for me.
I mean, you did then also 3-0, so you cannot complain about your new Cold Full Spider's Bite.
Playing Bravo is just fab easy. It's not easy, mate. It's just you just throw big attack.
Well, I thought that about Briar. Apparently, it sometimes backfires. But anyway,
I mean, you just need to draw Channel Mount Heroics. I just need to draw red cards and blues. It's easy.
Yeah, I mean, why do we bother playing these other classes?
Honestly, I think people have asked me that before, and my answer might change. Who knows?
So, what have we got to talk about, boys? There's been a fair bit of news since we last spoke.
Yeah, well, it's been quite the week actually, right? Or the last couple of weeks rather since we last recorded. We've had new cards drop.
Many.
We've had pretty exciting articles released by LSS. Yeah, it's been quite the week. Where do you want to begin? I guess.
I mean, I think OP is probably the place to start, and then we can get all excited about cards, because we obviously got a brand new one today as well, so I think...
You say that, man. I was so much more excited about this Premier Play announcement once it dropped. This was very hype. I mean, yeah, I think it shows the lack of stuff we've had going on here in Europe for some time now. That when this dropped, I got rather overexcited.
I mean, the thing is, I wasn't that excited when it released because I didn't have particularly high expectations because we've had so little in Europe. But as much as people, we whinge about LSS and some of the favouring of the US, they gave us some stuff.
They did, and I mean, you got to think this dropped less than a week ago, and we've now got 2 European trips booked, yes. And we know we'll be doing at least one more in the year. So. Yeah, we'll get into it all, I guess, though. But yeah, I'm very, very excited, and they really did. They gave us some stuff, and it's nice to see that we're the ones getting the call-ins this time instead of the battle hardens, and they're just spreading out a little bit.
Yeah, so obviously, I mean, the main point of the announcement was they'd heard that people wanted call-ins in Europe, and we got them. So we have a calling in Antwerp. We have a calling in Birmingham. Back in your homeland, George.
I am not from Birmingham. I want to get that. I want to get that straight.
It's Midlands. It's all the same.
So defensive.
There's the north,
I am not
the south,
from Birmingham.
There's this little band like Birmingham. Sorry to anyone.
Sorry to anyone. Sorry to anyone who's listening. I'm sure you individually are lovely, but I've also seen Birmingham.
Oh, we're getting cancelled. But so we got a call in Birmingham, and then they did say world to be in Europe. Just a small thing.
I mean, brush over that really small piece of huge news for a minute. That slight bit of worlds will be in Europe, which is absolutely amazing. I didn't think we'd do it. I really didn't. I was. Some other people had mentioned the idea of maybe, this, that, with the only Pro Tour being in America this time, and with it being America last year, maybe we'd get Europe, would be the location for the World, and I didn't believe it, but they've actually gone and done it, and fair play. I'm very excited. So excited.
I mean, it's nice because we've been able to book Antwerp already, and it sounds like the entire flight from Manchester to Brussels that Thursday and Friday is going to be everyone just there to go and play Fab. And we've already got Birmingham sorted as well, so it is literally all the OP stuff and all the issues and gaps we were talking about. Obviously, we're not having Baltimore to look forward to. I just suddenly didn't care, and I was just so excited for this.
Yeah, unbelievably so. And I mean, the fact that we finally got a UK calling, and this is, I think, for me, about the next best thing that it could have been from being the selfish answer of it being in Manchester, was that they went with the very sensible decision of putting it at the NEC, where it's easy to get to for a lot of people. People can travel internationally to it and everything else, and I think they've made a really good shout on this one. I'm sure it's going to be a really good calling. It's a fantastic venue.
Liam, are you giving it the cursory? It's good or it's shit?
It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Okay.
Very looking forward to it.
Cool. Well, so that's already his quotes for the episode in terms of vocabulary. So I guess you should mean you for the rest of it, George.
I mean,
does that include me insulting you because you're a cock?
No. We're not paying you extra.
Fuck.
We really need to get a Liam rating system. Just give you some stamps with "it's good" and "it's shit" on them, and
literally sign that says thumbs up, sign that says thumbs down. And you just have to
that's what we need.
I'm on camera. I can literally just put my thumb up or my thumb down.
Yes, that's why I say a little sign. We'll put a little bit more effort in.
I'm not making signs. What do you think this is?
It's not arts and crafts, clearly, with you.
Exactly. It's like design and tech, you know.
Lack of effort. Come on.
But yeah, I think Birmingham's a great place to do it. It's, again, outside of the selfishness of saying Manchester, it's easy enough for people to get to. There's so much accommodation there because they have these sort of things all the time. Obviously, it's LR that can be running it, which I guess, given the benefit of the doubt, I mean, after the battle-hardened fiasco.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. They obviously didn't play in the event, but they seemed at least to do a reasonable enough job of the Nationals last time round. You know, obviously before this year's Nats. You know, when they had that at the Armories, that was fine. They didn't exactly do the greatest job with their battle hardened and the PQ. But here's hoping for the call in. They really smash it out of the park on this one, and it'll be good. It'll be a hell of an event.
I think as a RAN event, it was fine, right? Like
the event ran smooth as could be, from my perspective.
The problem was the pricing, so
yeah, and the
it
judging
changes a little bit with LSS just doing pricing for a calling because that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true.
But there will be a battle hardened on the Sunday.
Yes,
and that will be limited. It won't be. So one thing, obviously, with Antwerp. No, I think Antwerp is limited, and then that is Blitz, isn't it?
Birmingham is Blitz. Antwerp is limited.
Yeah, so it'll be outside is
sealed into top 8 draft.
So, like I say, because it's obviously battle hardened, because there'll be loads of people there, you will need a 7 or 8-0 record of 6 rounds to actually make it into the top 8.
Yeah, so, that's the sad truth with a one-day tournament like that, though, right? I think that's always going to be
easy solution. Don't get knocked out of calling.
Sorry, Liam. I'll just win harder. You know, my apologies.
I mean, that's almost like when Little Sam said, "See, I thought you were going to Worlds to try and win." Why didn't you think of that?
I don't remember the word "try" being in there.
I did turn up to Worlds to try and win. I was just shocked. That is just what happens.
I mean, it happens, but yeah.
You know, some of us have terrible events.
It's true. Utrecht.
Yeah, I was going to say we don't bring up Utrecht, right?
Yeah, it's the sequel to We Don't Talk About Star Wars. We Don't Talk About Utrecht. And to be fair, having now played Briar, I can completely say how it can happen. It's shit. Well, it's not because when it goes,
the deck is not shit.
Well, it's not. When it goes, you ain't stopping it. But then you play Chamat Heroic and draw 4 actions and go, this hand is nothing. But anyway, again, enough of my woes on playing Runeblade for once. I say, you can tell it scarred me. But I am going to do it again next week, so...
You're doing it again next week?
Yeah, he's digging his own hole.
Oh, Oh damn! What are you playing a different Rune Blade, or are you going to?
No,
Sorry.
it's a-
I'm going to cut this conversation. This is news to me. I didn't realize he was playing it again.
Basically, what happened was, so after round one, I think he enjoyed this game against Oldham, and he was like, okay. And then he got the bye, and then he played round 3 and realized like the serious problems that Brian can have. And he went, "Fuck, I hate this deck. I'm not playing it." And then after like 15 seconds of serious deep thought or silence, he went, "I should probably give it more than 1 week." Which is, to be fair,
I'm a bit worried. That's way too sensible.
exactly right. Like Brooks is actually using his brain for once and not writing it off. Couldn't believe it.
I imagine me using my brain for a change.
I'm also pretty sure he's gonna get withdrawal for not like swinging the Dawnblade at some point. Like he's gonna be sitting there shaking by next week.
That's fine. I'll just move the Dawnblade on some play mats at home.
just have it near you when you at the armory. I couldn't believe it today when you said you didn't have Dory with you.
I'll be honest, I thought I did. I opened the little compartment on my deck box and went, the box isn't even there, and realised when I got home I'd actually taken the whole box out. Just to stop me from doing it, because I would have bottled it.
Well, no more.
The call of the Dawnblade is too strong.
But yes, anyway, to get back to, I guess, vaguely the point we were on before we got sidetracked. I think the Birmingham calling is going to be fantastic. It's going to be a great venue, and I'm very excited for the Antwerp one, which obviously I know a little less about, but be a bit closer. And we've booked that now as well.
No,
so I'm excited.
The thing that I always enjoy about these trips abroad with you boys is obviously usually Scott comes with us, and I want to just see Scott get recognised in as many countries as humanly possible. And if he doesn't, just the story that Liam makes up about Scott getting recognised.
I don't make up stories, but I only speak the truth.
I don't know what you're on about. That totally happened.
I mean,
you were there, Brooks. You've seen it happen.
I was there. I did see it. You are very right. I did see Scott. I mean, I think you were too busy getting your cherry milkshake, which I think to this day.
Mate, like honestly, why didn't we book flights to Brussels? We should have went to Amsterdam just so I can get a cherry milkshake on the way home.
Why have we flown into this much less convenient airport so Liam can get a cherry milkshake?
The reason was because the flights were about £30 return.
This is true.
Like, I don't understand why the only McDonald's I've ever been to does cherry flavoured milkshake is in Schiphol Airport of all places.
You get, obviously, for listeners and viewers at home, anyone who knows where to get a hold of a McDonald's cherry milkshake that isn't Schiphol Airport, please comment or just get in touch with Liam to provide him with his information.
Yes, please can you ship him a cherry milkshake?
Please tweet at SemperEU to actually give him the advice on where to get cherry milkshake from McDonald's, because it did change his life.
It was great, and then I led over a conversation about how time didn't exist for Brooks, which is beyond great.
It wasn't. It was a long weekend, and I was at wit's end by that point, and I'd lost my headphones, so I couldn't even drown it out. It was pain.
Listen, I had a painful weekend. I had to make it up somehow and make you feel worse than I did.
Yeah, so you decided to torture Paul Brooks here in the meantime.
Yeah, like we had a delayed flight. What else are we gonna do?
Yeah, man was rude, very rude. But anyway, enough about that one. So, I think generally speaking, the OP stuff, it's great. Obviously, there's some more. Yes. There's a couple of battle hounds as well. I think there's one in Germany.
That's right.
Metropole Ruin.
And then we've also got 3 obviously in the US as well, which is great for any listeners that are over there. But you have had a bit of a glut of these, so we are very excited to have some call-ins. But here's hoping those battle hardens go well as well once they come around.
But I mean, is there anything else on OP? Obviously, we've got Auckland coming up this weekend. So I know James White's going to be there. I can imagine we'll get some spoilers potentially for outsiders, because let's face it, we got quite a few calling Indy, and the fact that James White's there, and obviously with spoiler season literally next week, set releasing in about a month's time.
here's hoping. I mean, I wasn't expecting any to drop at Indy, to be honest, but obviously, like you said, it did. They dropped a fair few more than I thought they would, and we seem to get a couple more trickle through as well. So here's hoping that continues and we get another one this weekend. But it would be nice to see.
Yeah, because we've seen a lot of the assassin bits, so it'd be good to see a little bit more from the other classes. Because obviously George is still over the moon about his quiver.
So excited.
Yeah, and then obviously that alongside his, obviously with the perch grapplers, which are nearly as good as Great Fist, as he found out today.
Quotation marks, by the way. Actual spoken words from the Demon Ranger himself.
We're going to put this to bed now. We're going to leave this behind, then we can get on with the rest of the podcast and everything else.
Never.
Just no. Perch grapplers are massively inferior to Great Fist. Great Fist is significantly better.
Why are you lying to the viewers now?
All those people at home thought better of you. You just lied straight
why
to their faces.
Why do I do a podcast with you two? Why do I even talk to you two, to be perfectly honest?
You're either lying to me and Brooks, who are we're friends, or you're lying to the viewers. Which one is it, George?
I have cooked for you.
I dispute the fact that we're friends right now.
To be fair, after what you did while we were playing War of the Ring to my men at Helm's Deep, I've been down that for a while.
Let's not even go down that rabbit hole right now.
We're definitely going off on a tangent here. I'll spin us back on. What's people's predictions? What's people's predictions for this weekend? Who's going to win, hero-wise?
I'd love to see Bray, just because it'll go, and I don't need to worry about playing it the week after, playing it on Tuesday.
She would still be legal for that, don't you worry. You are playing her next Tuesday.
But it's pointless.
You are playing her next Tuesday, and you're not getting out of it.
But because obviously the meta could shift to. I hope it's not just ice dominated, but
yeah, I'd really like to see some impact from the banner restricted. Because the way it's going, I think if we don't start seeing an impact soon, I think it's becoming more and more likely that we're going to see another big shift once we get the banner restricted just before Outsiders release, which I don't think is a problem. I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily, but
don't think we got one before.
I think we were expecting.
We got this directly after the 30th of March, I believe.
That could be about right, but that's essentially the one for the Outsiders release.
Yeah,
in general, right? It might be just after, but we have got one around about the time, right?
It's the one that's designed for the we made a mistake kind of level thing and getting rid of Duskblade. Yeah. But I think I'd like to see a shift away from ice. I think there are some decks that could probably do it, but let's say Briar feels like a glass cannon if it goes off at the right time and you have a good day. Obviously, George, you were playing Bravo today and you had a interesting match against Oldham, but obviously the Oldham wasn't playing fatigue into you. I think just 'cause it was
he wasn't
nice and friendly.
He wasn't built for a fatigue match, I don't think. But also, like you say, he was just trying to have a good game, and we're just having a friendly armory game. It's not quite the same sort of thing. So, but yeah, I did have an enjoyable set of games in all mine, to be fair today. So, but yeah, beyond the point, I mean, I'd just like to see a diverse top 8. I think for this call-in this weekend. A little bit less of just we can have even if Oldham or Icelander win again or anything like that. Just some diversity would be fantastic. Once you get into that at the end of the tournament, let's not have 5 Oldhams, and 2 Icelanders or whatever. It's 1 Briar. Let's have 5 or 6 different heroes actually convert that last bit. Because I mean, if I remember correctly from the last calling I think it was Indy last time. It was really diverse right up until the end, right up until the last gasp, really. And then it all became just all Oldham.
I mean, I think you look at Calling Indy and you see the conversion rate on something like Bravo. I think it was Calling Indy at least. I was thinking there was 60 odd Bravos, 1 made day 2.
Yeah, I think he had a terrible conversion rate, and I mean, he's probably just not in the best place right now. But Oldham's was insane.
Or go for the real off the wall one, as Ailey's finally going to do it just before she gets all the new shit. It's that one meta where finally she can just go for it. She gets all the luck she needs to just pull off the stupid 80 odd damage endless arrow combo turn.
What you just watch, like, you know, she somehow gets a win out of nowhere, and then right before Outsider release, they're just gonna like, Ranger's too powerful. Let's just ban in this arrow.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Please. Fuck that card.
That would make Liam so happy. He fucking hates that card. Just
The thing
absolutely.
is, I'm not saying it's like even ban worthy. I just fucking can't stand that card, man. I have too much respect for that.
I don't think I
shit
helped
card.
you at the weekend, to be fair, on that one, mate.
Oh, it's fucking distraught.
To be fair, I think
That was rude.
Yeah, because obviously you boys had the winner box as well. But we'll come on to that. But Liam, what do you think for Auckland?
Oldham wins.
Oh, exciting.
I think that's the sad truth of it.
Oh,
I think that's the most
sorry.
likely outcome.
You can't just complain at the answer I give you.
I can.
I can complain that that's
do.
probably the
yes,
reality.
you can, yeah.
I think he's right, though. I do. I just think he's right. I think that's what it'll be. I think it'll be the same as last time. Probably Fatigue Oldham lists will do well.
Yeah, whether it's Fatigue Oldham or whether it's Icelander, I mean, I still think Ice is by far the strongest talent at the moment, and especially after Fi got hit with the little, which seems to really have taken the sting out of him. I just don't see him appearing quite as much.
It's just an interesting aside. You say Ice is the strongest talent. Is it actually, though, that Ice is the strongest talent, or is it more a case of that those just happen to be the two best heroes? Like, I mean, is Icelander's fact that that she's an ice hero really the thing that makes her amazing, or is that she gets to play on your turn and also throw a wounded bull very effectively? Is it that she has lots of playable blues and big attacks, and that she can also ping Arcane on your own turn, or is it that she gives you a frostbite? Like,
Icelander's shit. Fuck that deck anyway.
Sorry, unfortunately, we don't care that, Michael Hamilton is just, winning everything with Icelander. Icelander is shit.
Michael
shit
Hamilton
deck,
difference, mate. That deck is fucking wow. How in the world with that deck is beyond me.
So it's nothing to do with a Liam Holden skill issue. It is entirely, it's all down to Michael Hamilton. No one else can play Icelander. Deck's crap.
I mean,
Liam Holden 2023.
Well, to be fair, Liam did say that if the next time he plays Michael Hamilton, he will beat him. That was his big call from the Arbory, which he said to keep on the down low. So I'll just say it on a public forum. So
it's right. No one's listening. It's all good.
I'll back it. That's fine.
Bold.
I said that.
Bold.
That is a bold.
I'll stick to it. I won't. Michael Hamilton beat me on Leo. I'll beat him. I'll beat him next time I play him. He has no idea who I am and never remember me, but I don't give a fuck. I'll beat him.
Well, he's hoping you can do it.
Yeah, the man with one of the best competitive records in Fab, and I think he is probably now the undisputed best player. But anyway, going back to your...
make a difference, right?
But fine. I think going back to your point, George, I think it's probably a bit of a mix. I think there's obviously commonality that both Oldham and Icelander can run all the ice cards. I think the disruption that they can give people, whether it is just one frostbite, whether it's some of the more complex stuff, but they've also both got that ability to just churn out huge amounts of damage in one turn, I think.
Yeah, I just say I agree over really, because obviously the distinctive part of the Icelander build that we've got at the moment is not the ice cards. It's the big 3 for 7s and 8s. It's that kind of efficiency. And then Oldham, obviously, particularly now after the bans, again, his ice has kind of been stripped away a bit without the whale, and obviously they still run ice cards, but not half as many as they used to, and a lot of his ice disruption in that regard is just not as impactful as it was. So, but he's still just got an incredibly efficient Guardian shell that just kind of works very well, very efficiently, blocks well, and everything else. So I don't really know if it's the ice is dominant more than just Guardian and Wizard. They're pretty good right now.
But even then, Kano's not converting to the same level, and I think you look at
Kano's a different animal, though, isn't he?
Oh, he's a very different beastie. Just ask the Council of Kano on a Tuesday night. But I think there's also the fact that I think as soon as they didn't have to run the number of ice cards he did to be able to play Whale, obviously we've already used Liam's word count, so he probably can't chip in on the subject where he's probably most useful. But they can now, a lot of them have dropped the Oakenolds. They've come back with a vengeance. I've enjoyed that this evening. Forgot about that.
Yeah, Now the old Earth card count's gone up a little bit, and the ice has dropped. They do seem to be more viable for them. And now they're on the fatigue plans where they've got the time. They're not just sending big attacks at faces every turn anymore.
Yeah. Just every deck runs Pummel. Why is so many people got Pummel?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Pummel myself, but
Is the guy complaining about Pummel the guy that turned up to an armory with Pummel Arachne?
I was also running fire breathing.
yes, he is.
Yeah,
he
but
is definitely.
this is besides the point.
It actually proves the point that you kind of try and just put it in because Pummel is so good. And it just makes me sad because it's just you sat there going CNC one floating and 2 cards in hand, or 2 floating. You just go, I know this is going to come in for 10 and dominated. No, sorry, not dominated. 10. It's going to take my arsenal. It's going to take a card out of my hand. Get wrecked. It just makes me sad.
Yeah. Part of that's a CNC problem. Not so much. I mean, it is also a Pummel thing, but yeah, I mean, part of that CNC is a stupid card that was always overtuned, but it's just been around for so long.
Yeah. I can't see him touching that one now, though. But I think that's
I don't think they ever will.
Good card.
It is a crazy good card. It doesn't deserve half the tech that's on it, and it probably should never have blocked 3. And then once you delete probably like half the text on it and stop it blocking 3, it becomes a very fair and reasonable card.
Yeah. Well, if you think they made it now, you look at Erase Face, you look at things like even Thor, these sort of 6 attack, 2 cost, they all block 2 now. I think you just know that it's overtuned. Yeah.
I think it's also just the fact that in fact, this is something that I don't know what you guys think, but trying to think of what the text I'd like to have seen on CNC, because obviously I get that you shouldn't be able to play your defense reactions onto the CNC link, because obviously that's what you're trying to do is destroy that defense reaction in the arsenal. Do you think it would have been better for CNC in general into the game if it had been printed on it that there was no reactions allowed to CNC's chain link, so you also couldn't attack react onto CNC, so that you couldn't CNC Pummel or anything like that? Do you think that would have made a better card?
I mean, I'm in the camp of I actually don't hate CNC as it is, so I won't change it.
You won't change it at all?
No, don't get me wrong, the card's very good. I do like a generic challenge the Arsenal, because I think challenging Arsenal is important. I think it needs to exist.
For sure. And that's why I was like, some people I know have said that they ban CNC, that they just don't like the card being there. But I agree wholeheartedly. Like, there should always be a way to interact with the Arsenal. I just don't think it should be this premier level of a card that's just...
If you're asking me to change it, then I would remove the defense reactions can't be played to it. Just the defense reaction. You can still pummel it. It still destroys Arsenal. It still blocks 3. It still attacks a 6. It still costs 2.
You still go that
but
way.
You remove you can't play defense reactions to it.
Yeah, I think that was my additional thing. I thought as well. I think, but
yeah, I think you can either remove the text from it or you embellish it, say no reactions. I think either one makes it a little bit fairer. But I've never been one for ban CNC. I don't think it's as much. And I think there was a lot of the stuff was actually around the secondary market, just how expensive a card it was. You're allowed to have good cards in a game at the end of the day.
For sure. For me, it's just still a bit overtuned. Like, I just think if that card was going through the design process today, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody else that's actually listening to us right now would say, so they're going, "Nah, he's talking out of his ass." There's no way we would design it exactly as it is now. But I don't think it'd get through the design process again in the same form that it is now, being exactly the card that it is right now. I think surely they'd have to tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, I can guarantee it block 2. Because I say that's the model that they're running with these things now. That these potentially good cards are always going to. These 6 for 2s are always going to block 2 now. I don't think they're going to do many that are block 3 unless they haven't got any text on them. But
yeah,
I mean at that point, there's better cards you run.
I mean, don't get me wrong. These ones that don't, if they don't have any text on it at all, they should absolutely block 3. I mean, that was the entire point of stuff like Raging Onslaught and everything, right? It's just a big, expensive attack. It's a 3 cost. You just block 3, put it in your deck because it's just like, this is a blue bitch that blocks 3.
Bit of vanilla damage.
Yeah.
The classic Bull-lander card, Wounded Bull. How they found that card out of the bull piles? I've got absolutely no idea. So before we
before we go down the rabbit hole,
before we move on to spoilers, I think next is there any last bits on OP, or are we just start getting all hyped up for Outsiders?
I think just how excited we are. I mean, I just got to say it again. It's fantastic. Fair play to LSS for getting out of there. Obviously, we're disappointed not to get our calling in the UK last year when the idea was originally kind of put forth, but I'm just now glad it's on the cards and it's booked in, because very excited to be able to play and not get on a plane to go and play in a major event.
Still a bit of a drive, but we can manage that.
I can live with that.
The FaBmobile will do its duty.
Yes.
So let's move on to some spoilers. I think we've got a bit excited. We've got a couple of days now until full spoiler season, and look at that transition. It's like I've almost been planning this.
He hasn't.
So no, I haven't. So obviously, I've just got the card page up from FaBrary. So, what do we think, folks?
We got 4 cards, right?
We do
4.
indeed.
I make it. We'll start with.
I think.
Piece of Red came out first.
We haven't discussed Ninja a lot so far. Should we begin with the one we just got today?
Yeah, why not? Plus, it's cool.
It is. I mean, the artwork on this is brutal. If you haven't seen it yet, I believe it was this Dragon Shields.
Yes,
it was.
This was Dragon Shields spoiler. So they gave us Dishonor, which is a blue 0 cost block 3 to attack with like say grim artwork. I don't know if that's Katsu getting skewered.
If you haven't seen it, like I said, go and have a check out on Twitter. Go and have a look at the artwork on the spoiler on Dragon Shield's page. But yeah, it is absolutely something else. It's pretty grim.
So it reads combo. If Bonds of Ancestry is the last attack this combat chain, this gets +2. It's a 4. That's fine. When this hits a hero, if you control Surging Strike, Descendant Gustwave, and Bonds of Ancestry, that hero loses all abilities for the rest of the game. Have at thee, folks.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there, right? I mean, goddamn, this we've got the combo finisher to obviously the card we saw a couple of weeks back, Bonds of Ancestry, which is what a way to finish a chain, I guess. This is an interesting way to finish I guess diverge the original Katsu combo line of Surging Strike into Gustwave into Mugenshi, and now obviously a different Gustwave into Bonds of Ancestry into this, which is, I guess, it's an interesting combo line.
And also, you kind of get a semi-spoiler in that we get, we know there's going to be Descendant Gustwave.
Mm-hmm.
So I think some of this really will depend on how good Descendant Gustwave is as a card. But if you can hit with this fairly early in a game, this absolutely cripples some heroes.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, I think we were discussing this at the Armory earlier, and some apps when they get dishonored, they really do have a hard time. I mean, if you hit a levy with this and they've already got some blood debt, I'm sorry, they're in trouble because that hero text is gone and it ain't coming back.
Yeah, you hit Dory. Don't you worry about that second swing. They can't swing it again.
Yep, yeah, that Warrior's Valor. Yeah, it ain't gonna be doing much unless they're playing a twinning. It's that one swing is their only swing, and they're not getting many counters on the Dawnblade.
No, Kano. No,
yeah.
No worry.
If you hit the Kano with this, they miss their block, and then they miss block, and then you come in with this and actually manage to get a hit. That game might just be over because if they don't kill you with their Stormstriders or on their own turn, they ain't killing you.
Liam, thoughts?
I think Dishonor's cracked for 2 reasons. I think that the text on it is insane. I also think that people's fear of this card allows the rest of the combat chain link beforehand deal a shit ton of damage.
Yeah, I also think it's worth noting just how much harder this is to block out than the full Lord of Wind line, and I think a lot of that comes back to like when you actually look at Bonds of Ancestry. the fact that this, unlike Mugenshi, doesn't actually need to hit your opponent to go and search, just means that blocking this is going to be a lot harder, because obviously unless you block the surging and they then don't have the whelming to follow it up, the gust wave, sorry, not the whelming, the descendant gust wave to follow it up, then obviously if they don't have it, it stops there. But if they do have it and you block on the surging, I mean, you've either got to block the whelming to stop the Katsu trigger, or again, if they've got this, you're definitely not blocking the dishonor by that point. It's gonna be a rough one.
And this is the thing that I think's completely nuts about this whole line, is that the fact dishonor is a 0 cost with combo means you can discard this to Katsu, go and get Bonds of Ancestry, play Bonds of Ancestry. Your dishonor is already in your graveyard, so you can now go and search for it out your deck. The whole thing's nuts.
Yeah, because it wouldn't have to be too hard to get this, right? So like if we assume that the descendant gust waves are 0 cost at this point, then if your hand is surging blue, descendant gust wave, then you wouldn't need the Bonds of Ancestry. You've got this as well on top of the blue. The blue. You begin on the surging, and then if you either hit on that or the gust wave, or the gust wave, then you discard this, go find the Ancestry, then it's already in your discard pile for the Ancestry, and then can be searched out. Another copy will be searched out of your deck. At which point they can't interact with it anymore. All they can do is hope to block the dishonor, which is going to come in for 4, maybe 5 with a Shuko.
Yeah, if you got Shuko, we were talking about earlier, you can not rain razors, razor reflex.
Of course.
You can chuck
Ancestral
empowerment.
Breaking scales.
Yep.
Breaking scales. There's going to be so many ways that this can get buffed that the number you're going to have to block this to make sure you. I mean, some heroes don't give a shit. Dash is just sat there going, nice.
Sure. What hero ability are you on about again? It's. I would also be shocked if we don't see a new ninja attack reaction, or at least a generic attack reaction that's very suited for ninja, that it's playable in this set. I would have thought the draft set will have.
What was the one we got last set?
Rapid reflex.
Yeah,
right. Has to be a 0 because it can work. Yeah, that works just fine. I'm not sure I've seen many people playing that with that. So, maybe.
Liam, you love it. You already think
I don't
lie.
No, I'm not even acknowledging that comment.
I mean, that's completely reasonable. Although I did hear someone talking about wax on the other day, which
yes, I do believe we had somebody discussing wax on. I'm not quite sure why or what happened to them, but yeah,
it wasn't just the context of what's the worst cards in Fab. It was a genuine,
that would have made sense
conversation. But no,
and they weren't talking about Karate Kid.
No, apparently not. They were actually talking about Fab. So.
No, they weren't talking about Seb and his wall running.
But yeah, apart from this, we also know that Surging Strike is coming back and is going to have a reprint. Probably the part of the old combo line that you weren't that thrilled about is back and ready for more.
Yeah.
So,
Sad.
yes.
So, out of 5, gents, what are we calling it?
5.
Yeah, I think it's hard to argue that it's going to be a hell of a card. And I guess once we see what Descendant Gust Wave looks like, depends how cracked this is, but it's got to be a 4 or 5 for me. The card's very exciting. Even just it's another 0 for 3 blue 3 block. For Katsu, this is very nice indeed.
Yeah, it's a 5 for me. I think just that hit effect on its own, like Liam said, and I can't believe I'm agreeing with him. But I think
does happen occasionally.
Yeah, only occasionally.
The fuck?
But I think just the fact this, depending against which hero, and because so many of them will care about this. We talked about the other one mentioned with Bolton. He's not in a great spot anyway. This takes off his hero power. He can't then do Lumina combo outside of what he's got off action points with Spirit of Arena.
Yeah, that's his only possibility.
There's so many heroes where them losing their hero ability is going to be so crippling that actually you're going to have to try. You're going to have to retain block for this, and like we said, there's so many things you can use to buff this. That you're gonna have to overblock, and to have that block available means the rest of the line might hit. So I think for me, it's got to be a 5.
Yeah, for sure. It's a crazy looking card. Like I say, I'll be interested to come back to this one once we know the full combo line and what it looks like, because that'll just make it probably determine how difficult it is to block this and how much of a pain it's going to be. But yeah, the fact that this card is in the game is crazy with that kind of a hit effect.
So
losing all abilities is massive.
Yeah. So before we move on we hand over to George to tell us why.
No, we'll do the generic first, right?
Yeah, that sounds good. We can do the generic first.
So, I mean, I think it'll be quite quick. So, Peace of Mind. This was the card for Team Covenant. It's a common, but obviously they've got an alt-art promo of this as well. So, Peace of Mind at red. It costs 2. And at red, it's the next time you would be dealt physical damage. This turn, prevent 4 of that damage, and create a ponder token. That's a generic instant. So, obviously, I think the first comparison, you look at something like an Oasis Respite as an instant that blocks 4. Obviously, Oasis only costs 1. You gain a life. It works on all types of damage because it's just effectively ward. Yeah, well, it's not ward. It's actually better than ward.
This is
very
definitely better than Paul. I'm not sure it's an average card. I mean, you compare it to Oasis Respite. I think this is better in certain circumstances. Obviously, it's got its extra limitations, but you do get one of those 2 cards you have to use to play this refunded.
True.
Obviously, it is by a Ponder token, so it's at the end of your turn, so you're not going to be attacking with this card next turn. But for anyone who cares about their arsenal, I wonder as if we've got like a legendary piece of equipment that you always want a card in your arsenal every turn for. If only we had one of those, and also it like costs 1 to activate. But we would, if only we had like a combo piece like that, like Crown of Seeds, and this seems to combo very, very nicely with that. I mean, the fact that you can pitch a blue, get the card 1 card out of hand, so you back up to a 4 card hand after the fact, and then you play that card out. So you, from the 1 card out your hand there, you prevented 4, and you're going to get your arsenal set back up again for the next turn. This card seems really good.
It does have some potential as well, especially look at, like say, Crown costs 1, so that prevent Ward 1 and then prevent 4. You look at Warrior, you got Steelblade Shunt, you could potentially block 10. Offer blue pitch. So I think it's got some, but I think it's a very... How many decks are actually going to be willing to make space for this? Also, it does come in a rainbow, so we do have the yellow, which prevents 3, the blue that prevents 2. I think really we're only ever going to see, if it gets played, I can only see it really being the red.
So I mean, we're debating this. I mean, we've got a guy who loves fatigue here. How do you feel about Peace of Mind?
Card is very good, way above average. I think the combo pieces with, especially in Oldhim, is kind of crackers. So obviously you mentioned the Peace of Mind, Crown of Seeds together, Peace of Mind into Rampart together, Peace of Mind into Oasis together, still allows you to block from hand even when something's dominated, because obviously Oasis and Peace of Mind is both instants, and the Ponder token replaces your arsenal, which is the most important part when you are fatiguing people, is like weighing up how much damage you can take before giving up your arsenal to turn off Crown of Seeds, and the Ponder token allows you to keep it. I think this card's like close in Oldhim and Arachne, because I think Arachne can make use of this. I would probably give it like a 4.5.
Wow, yeah, that's fair. I mean, to be fair, I guess I hadn't really thought about it too much, but I can imagine even on those turns for Oldhim where he's caught without an arsenal, had to give it up. At least if he uses this, like you say, he gets Rampart value. So I mean, 2 cards are still blocking 5, but you also get that guaranteed arsenal back again, which sets you right essentially, which I guess is worth a fair whack that we didn't get with Oasis, where you get that back with Ponder.
1 blue, right? So you can do like 1 blue, pitch for Oasis, Peace of Mind,
Mm,
which blocks
even
8
better.
off a blue. Then you can pitch Hammer for 4, and then your pawn token obviously get your Arsenal back. Or you can block another 3 and you just get your Arsenal back. Like, it's kind of nuts.
Yeah, this card does scare me a little bit in a fatigue Oldham list. Whether it'll end up being that way, I don't know, but the potential seems there, right? Like the ability to get that back.
I think it's just my hatred of damage prevention effects, especially when it then gets around dominate. Like again, yeah.
I mean, you need counters to dominate, right? Like, how many? No idea.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think it's fine. It's not. I don't think it's going to be too problem. Like, it's
For
not
sure.
always his respite. It's not always his respite.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure all the Wizard players are rejoicing on the fact that this doesn't block Arcane. Because I think another copy of Oasis Respite, if it had been that, essentially, would have been an absolute nail in the coffin for Kano. But thankfully, it's not. So I'm sure they'll be dead happy about that.
I mean, I'd be more. I don't think I rate it as highly as you guys, but I think that's just because it doesn't fit into how I tend to play. But like I say, I think the Ponder token effectively guaranteeing you an Arsenal slot. Like I say,
yeah,
it's like it. And like I say, it's just how many decks are willing to make space for this as well. Because like I say, we've used the examples of Arachne and Oldham, which I think are some of the best use cases for it. But outside of those two, I'm just wondering how often you'd end up seeing it.
Any deck I think that wants to run Crown of Seeds now, whether we'll see that outside of Oldham, maybe at some point in the future, but. I think we'll probably want to run this because you're just always going to want that Arsenal card. But yeah, for sure, particularly in the meta at the moment, right? We're not wanting to see heroes block on their own, just block on their opponent's turn or anything like that, or give up cards when they're not using them proactively. So this card doesn't look great in that kind of meta, outside of the fatigue decks, outside of the ones that just need an Arsenal above anything else. So yeah, I can see what you're saying. I don't think you'll see a lot of play in that regard, but for the decks that do, card looks pretty crackers.
Yeah, I think it's about 3 for me. It's just above half.
Maybe. I don't like the card, but I'll give it a 4. I think.
Look at it. We've got range. You don't still have to agree all the time.
Imagine agreeing all the time.
Oh god, that'd be awful. I mean, it'd make this really boring if we all just agreed with Liam, and the world would be a boring place. Because everyone would think that Fatigue Oldham's fun.
No, it's not. Spoiler, it's not.
And we'd all be full beanbag.
And we'd all still be playing the armory from last week.
Yeah. Yes, we would. And no one needs that. Right. We have got the Demon Ranger.
The expert himself.
You've got somebody who likes to play Ranger. Yes, I agree.
Come on then, Big Cheese.
The most feared.
Okay, I'm going to start talking just to shut you guys up now.
I was gonna do names until you started talking.
Right, Barbed Castaway first.
You want to begin with Barbed Castaway?
Yeah, because then we can talk about all the fun shit you get with traps now.
Yeah. The Barbed Castaway is interesting. I mean, I will start. This is in the next Armory kit for March, I believe, which is exciting. I like the idea we're going to get in this. We're going to be getting a nice cold foily Barbed Castaway. I will be wanting one, I must say. But yeah, I mean, the cards. It's an interesting one.
You don't read that text first.
Yeah, that's a very good shout. Sorry. So Barbed Castaway. So it's a 1% instant costing 1. You may put an arrow card from your hand face up into your arsenal, but it also has a second instant ability on it. Once per turn instant, also costing 1. You may turn a face down arrow in your arsenal face up. If you do, put an aim counter on it.
Oh, you getting any more aim counters, George? Your favourite thing?
Yes. I'm not against the idea of aim counters. It's a bit of a shame the way they've got them and the way they work because they're a bit insular. They only work with other ways to get aim counters, and without it, the arrows are just blank and boring. But when you're playing within that, they're quite a nice, interesting, fun mechanic. Sound Scouter is somewhat fun when you're playing with Sound Scout and with the arrows that impact were based on the aim counter. And I mean, this will be the same, right? It gives you an inbuilt way to gain the aim counters, and this is nice. At least it's consistent. You don't have to be taking it from the top of your deck to get the aim counter, which is very nice. You just got that ability to just turn it face up And both of these being an instant is great. I've mentioned before, like obviously after seeing Sandscour, that I wish more bows were instant. Most should be instant. This will allow you to do shenanigans on turn one, like you can do with Voltaire, putting an arrow card face up into your arsenal. You can also, if for some reason you need to, for example, like a game against an Icelander or something like that, you can open up a second arsenal spot if you're on a new horizon by turning one face up, which would be quite nice. So if they come in with a channel like Frigid, you could, as an instant, before the cost increase kicks in, you can turn an arrow face up to open up your second arsenal spot and then even load another one. It's just nice and allows, I don't know, rangers in general to play on a more level playing field with some of the other heroes. That this is an instant, and more bows should be like that, in my opinion. That's good. Definitely a positive. That's great. Everything else about it a little bit more questionable. Not giving you any benefit for the arrow really, apart from literally just an aim counter if you turn it face up. This bow also has me worried about Azalea, just because obviously we know that looks like they're leaning pretty heavy into aim counters this set, and we at the moment we don't have any way of getting aim counters with just this bow. If this is in the draft set, getting aim counters with Azalea's ability, if the text on Azalea isn't changed, she can't get any aim counters on a dominated arrow. Unless I've completely missed something. Currently, her text doesn't say that. With your using Sandscour, part of the text on Sandscour says, anytime you place an arrow from your deck into your arsenal, face up, give it an aim counter. Yeah. This doesn't have that text. This just doesn't have any of that. So Azalea's ability places it into the arsenal face up anyway, so you can't activate the second part of this to give it an aim counter. So at the moment, she could be in a set where this is the common token weapon, we presume at least, that should have access to, and it might be the only one that she's got access to, that doesn't give her any ability to get aim counters on arrows when she's using her ability, doing her signature part of that. Now, I'm kind of hoping that maybe they've pulled a bit of a fast one here and they've showed us the old tech for Azalea, and there'll be an errated version of this set with her ability giving an aim counter automatically. But if they are, they're keeping that hidden away at the moment, so it seems unlikely.
Well, there was the whole thing around on the skirmish season where the young heroes are there. The Azaleas is the only one they don't show. I think it was on the skirmish, but
yeah, got that sealed envelope, haven't we? And we will presume Azaleas in there, but not shown.
Yeah. So if you had a choice between this and Sandscour, which one would you actually run?
That's hard to say. It depends.
Well, it depends. Too hard. It's Barbed Castaway or Sandscour Greatbow.
Thank fuck you're here. But yeah.
What a twat.
I know, right? He is. But anyway, yeah, sure. I'm not sure. I'm not certain yet which one is going to be the better bow. Until we see more of the set, it's hard to say. At least. For me, at least the Sandscour allows you to interact with the top of your deck. This allows you to consistently get aim counters. So if the set is wholly about having an aim counter on your arrow, if literally every arrow if this has an aim counter, and we don't get any other way to add those on, some better buffs that add them on, or a piece of equipment that's a common that just adds them on. Because I think partly I'm worried about this in the limited set as well. Then it's going to be tough to. It's going to be tough to be better than Sandscour. And let's be fair, Sandscour isn't even the best bow for Azalea. This doesn't allow you to get. Yeah, I mean, it's just the best bow, particularly for Azalea. It's absolutely the best bow that she has, and this doesn't allow you to get an extra card. Doesn't allow you to gain resources, and that limits a lot what the cost curve that you can live on as Azalea. I mean, the best bit about Death Dealer is it lets her run very yellow, red yellow pitch, and it allows her to not have to worry about running blues and to get an access to an extra buff, replace that Arsenal card. Now, if this said when you activate one of these or something, when you put a card face up, create a ponder token or something like that, I'd be like, yeah, this is great. But it just the fact that it doesn't allow you to interact with the top of your deck is a bit of a shame.
So having seen this, and if this is the token weapon like we think, and I think rightly assume it is, because obviously the version we've got on FaBrary is a promo. It's the one from the Armory kit. Do you think we're going to see majestic weapons? I know we haven't on that, but
yeah, I mean, I think I might have mentioned in one of the earlier podcasts. I hope not. I don't like majestic weapons in a draft set, but I think it's quite possible we see them. I mean, it's possible we just get a sand scour put back in. But I mean, it'd also be nice to see maybe a different weapon that's more aimed towards Riptide. But we don't really know what Riptide's going to look like right now. I suppose we've got only a vague inkling of what his cards actually look like.
Well, we have seen it. Someone was showing a bit of art from their spoiler card. So I think everyone's got their spoilers, and it is someone being impaled by an anchor.
I think I'd heard as well that we'd got a name for it as well. I believe it was Get Over Here.
Yeah. It's got Liam written all over it. That, to be honest, just throwing anchors at people.
Wait, is it grappling hook, right?
Yeah,
I believe.
I think it's
grappling hook. I mean, I'm hoping it's. Yeah. I'm hoping it's an anchor because I know we've.
Why the fuck not?
Well, exactly. He's got one in one of his art pieces. It makes sense.
In his hero art. Yeah, I think it's got. It's just kind of below the border. I think if you look at the full art version here, you can just see the edge of it in the adult hero art. But he is holding what is basically a massive hook / anchor. Kind of, it's an anchor sort of shape. I don't know if it exactly is that or just a massive curved blade on a chain.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a big old weapon.
He's a big old boy. But yeah, I think coming on to Riptide is probably about the right thing to do now because we got a whole article.
We didn't rate Bobcast, did we?
Go on.
No, I'll go last on this one. I mean, I haven't heard anything for what you guys think of this.
Fuck! George, you ruined my whole plan.
Yes. Nothing better than ruining someone else's plans.
I was going to copy George and then go, the only reason being is because George said so. Fuck. I'd probably give it like a 2.5. Only because I don't know what I see in this Castaway that's not as good as Sans. Oh, I suppose it's true that when George says like if all the arrows require an aim counter, then Barb Castaway instantly goes up. So I think it just depends on what text is printed on the arrows that come out of this set for me.
Yeah. I think I would have said 2, but then like you said, Liam, if we get more arrows and they're all aim counter focused, being able to actually have access to those, and if the actual point of having the aim counter there is a big enough effect, then I think then its stock will go up. But I still think it's just not going to see any constructive play really.
Yeah, I think you guys are about on the same page as me on this one. To be fair, I'm thinking about a 2 right now. I'd like to see it jump a bit higher, but yeah, the advantage this offer for me is the instant as an ability is an advantage, and then purely the consistency of getting aim counters. But the downside is huge, absolutely huge right now.
Yeah, not drawing cards or generating anything off the top of the deck, I think makes it pretty painful.
Yeah, and also just having absolute anti-synergy with a lot of other Azalea stuff, because actually it's one other thing we haven't covered here is, particularly with, if you look at this and put it with Skull Button Cross Wrap, this now means you have to choose between either opting or getting an aim counter.
Yeah.
If you, presumably you've got the arrow in Arsenal, to begin with.
Do you think? I think eventually for Azalea we're going to move away from this, from the whole let's build Azalea around Cross Wrap. Do you think eventually it'll just change?
I think we might see this set honestly. Like if the token weapon, unless we have 2 token weapons or we have a majestic weapon that's much more Azalea focused, because obviously it's not a problem in limited. I don't think they'll reprint Cross Wrap, but this has direct anti synergy with it, right? Like, without a reload effect, you just can't use Cross Wrap with this, because either you're not getting aim, either you're flipping it up to this, or you're loading it in already face up. So if this was put a card face down by paying 1, if this was a reload effect by paying 1 as an instant, then it'd be perfectly fine with Cross Wrap. The fact that you have to put an arrow in face up means it really.
So is the approach just print? This does sound like I'm taking the piss, but is the way forward to actually print an another Azalea focused like legendary headpiece and leave Cross Wrap behind?
maybe. I guess at that point you got to ask yourself, like, what exactly do they want Azalea to be? Do they want her to be the big go tall ranger? Because if they're not changing a hero text, unless the new headpiece does something pretty damn similar, like she's got to be able to know what's on top of the deck to be able to interact with it the way she does. So with her current hero text, cross wrap is very good. Unfortunately, it's not necessarily the text on cross wrap that doesn't make it a good card. Like the constant opt is very good and obviously very powerful for Azalea. It's the rest of it. It's the fact that it's a one block blade break piece of equipment. It's the fact that it doesn't do anything other than just the opt when you compare it to obviously a lot of other pieces of equipment that are very powerful and block as well.
Well, I mean,
and stay around.
Azalea and Crossrap have the synergy, right? It's the newer bows that don't.
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot of what they've made since then that doesn't have any synergy. And I mean, maybe the argument could be made that this is more tailored for a go tall. Of a ranger running New Horizon. Now, if that is the case, this also doesn't work particularly well, just because if you're particularly going tall, like you don't have any ability to flip up a non-arrow card.
Yeah.
So you would have to how are you gonna you can open up a second arsenal spot by like flipping an arrow and putting a name counter on it. But if you're a go tall ranger, the only thing you can then load into the second arsenal spot is another arrow. So then you've got 2 arrows in your arsenal, and you're probably only firing one because they don't normally have go again. And this, you're not going to be doing one big dominated. That gives you one go at it, and only if you got the blues. Only if you've got the pitch. So, like I said, I don't know. They seem to be so unfocused, and so many pieces of the Ranger stuff tends to have anti-synergies with what Azalea actually wants to do. And they seem to have tried to give us like some go wide tools in the past that have just failed and fall flat on their face. Rapid Fire is a card that just doesn't see play. Poison the Tips is a card with so much potential, and yet it's maybe see some plays in Lexi occasionally.
Try shot.
Again, well, try shot's the same thing, right? But then again, what major benefit are you going to get by using try shot on this? The synergy is in theory out there with Death Dealer because it's going to let you draw cards a lot more, but Azalea doesn't really have access to the go again for it, or anything else. So
that's outside of the weird combo kind of decks that kind of cropped up. The main problem Azalea is always going to have with that is the go again, which is obviously what Voltaire offers, and that's the way that is their way around it. And then obviously, like I say, without taking the piss this time. Perch grapplers, you've got, other than that, you have to start looking at razor reflexes, but you don't really run in that stuff because if you get that off the top of the deck, you're screwed. So, yeah, I hope that, like I say, I think we're all hoping that Azalea gets a bit the support she needs that actually works with her rather than we're actually going to try and build something completely different.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I would also just like them to maybe have a set where they don't print cards which are meant to be for Azalea. They're just anti-synergistic with Azalea herself or with other stuff they've designed. I mean, even as recently as Dynasty, you look at the card Point the Tip. It's a terrible Azalea card just because if you ever are really lucky enough to hit it and find it in your arsenal, it's literally unplayable. You don't have a target arrow in your arsenal to target with it, and therefore it can't be played. Because it's the card in Arsenal, and there's so many just these little anti-synergies that exist within the Ranger class in cards that should be built for Azalea. And if they could maybe get a clear vision of what they actually want it to be, and maybe they've found that now, maybe this is going to lead us towards that. But I for one am skeptical, particularly given that we've got another Ranger in the set that's going to have, at least on the face of it, a very different play style.
Yeah. Well, I think we can probably move on to the stuff about Riptide because obviously he's our Ranger.
I have gone on enough about that one.
Yeah, but we got a new trap, but that wasn't the main news from that article. It was a big James White himself, or Whitey, actually put this out, put out an article, and not quite we made a mistake, but said that traps don't work. Because they have to be played from Arsenal, you didn't see play because you couldn't build a trap-heavy deck because too many times you can find your hand stuffed with traps and you can only put one in your arsenal, the rest of it you're stuck with. So they've decided to errata traps. So trap is now just a random keyword, a bit like stealth is. So I think that's another thing that we got. That stealth is a keyword that has absolutely no text. This is just an identifier and allows heroes to interact with stealth in a certain way. Traps are going to be the same. So trap is now just a subtype, means that if there is a range that happens to be interacting with them and certain things happen if you play a trap, it's just a keyword, which means that new traps don't have to be played from the arsenal, which makes a huge difference. However, to caveat all that, the old traps will still have to be played from the arsenal. They have been errated to say that, but it's that particular. So, tripwire trap must be played from arsenal. Whatever the other ones are, because let's face it, they don't see play. I don't unless
Pitfall and Rock Slide.
Pitfall and Rock Slide, that's the one. I can't see them seeing play still unless Riptide does something particularly good with them.
No, they seem like they're going to stay just as bad. But I'm going to say, after seeing the quiver and the text behind the quiver, and then this article saying how bad traps are, I feel vindicated right now. It is good. Yeah, finally we got recognition that even LSS will recognise that traps were bloody terrible, and that they shouldn't have been what they were. Yeah. But it's a shame that the old ones are still going to work the way they're going to work. Obviously, I know they would have been very decent defense reactions without the caveat of playing them from Arsenal. But I didn't see that as a huge negative, to be perfectly honest. I think some people seem to think they would be, but it's a shame that they're not going to make those genuinely playable, which would have been nice to have in the errata.
But you did get a new trap.
We did. This one's an exciting one.
So
do you want me to go over it?
I'll read it out. So we got.
Go on.
So it's a majestic. It's a blue 0-cost trap. It's a legendary Riptide specialization, so only Riptide can play it. Only one in your deck, and it is the collapsing trap. So you can only obviously have one of these in your deck. And it blocks for 3. So it's not 4, but it should have been nice. When this defends against an attack with go again, the attacking hero discards their hand, then draws that many cards, -1. I love it.
Seems like a pretty solid trap, to be fair, doesn't it? It's
and again, the art is phenomenal.
Isn't it just? It is. It's quite the scene that we see with this blown up bridge or by the looks of it or something.
Just people falling. It gives me so many vibes of like Arcane. What's the thing? It's the anime season thing from
the Netflix series.
Yeah, which is brilliant. But I mean, obviously, it has to be against an attack with go again. But I don't see that as a thing. The ability of this to just destroy or disrupt what people do. When we're talking before about dishonor, if they've got the dishonor in hand, they attack with the surging strike, or you let them go onto the second chain. Go, okay, you've drawn up your thing, you've done your effect, great. Now I'll discard your hand.
Oh yeah, you can see why this was put into this set, because I mean, although you're not going to see it a lot, it's a majestic in the limited environment. When you're playing Riptide and you go up against a ninja, they're going to feel the effects of this card when you hit it with them. It's going to be a good one when you can get this on a go again attack and completely disrupt their turn. I really like it. I think it's a bit of a shame it's a legendary. I don't know how you guys feel about legendary cards. Obviously, legendary, the keyword rather than the rarity. But
they should
how you feel about legendary
changed that word. Make
it
unique.
Yeah, right. Why couldn't it have been unique instead? I hate the fact that we've got legendary, the keyword, legendary, the rarity. But I don't know how you guys feel about those in general.
I don't mind legendary keyword. I hate it on this.
Yeah,
because I want to play 3 copies of this card so fucking
much. I know, right? I would love it. Is it that broken that it couldn't have been a 3-arm in the deck?
It might be in limited.
Maybe, but a majestic, you shouldn't be seeing more than one of these in a limited
Yeah. You'd be lucky if you
capacity
saw two.
anyway.
The thing is, like in limited, right? If you end up with a 30-card deck and you have 3 of these, let's say you're playing as Ninja, like if their go again attack came from Arsenal, you've got 12 cards for 3 of yours. It's kind of busted.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, this
Or 2.
realistically, right? Like, if you're in a limited environment, you're unlikely to see 3 anyway. Even if you do somehow get 3 of these in your pod, why in the world are Ninja players not hate drafting this card?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's definitely different scenarios, but like obviously I hate legendary keyword in this card, but I think that's why I don't think it's going to be overly busted in CC. Maybe we're wrong.
For sure. I mean, don't get me wrong. In the games that it comes up in, it's incredibly impactful, and the existence of this card has some certain effects. Like for me, if you know this has some. I think it should make a ninja or a 5-player, for example, think twice about Art of Warring in the reaction step against Riptide. Just because if they do and they've only got 1 card in hand, once they've played the Art of War and paid for it, you can 100% play this in reaction and discard that. Oh, no, discard the card and then make it so they've got no card in hand for the banish, which is very nice.
Yeah, I mean they'll just do all of the ninja players will start doing what they do against Oldham and doing it in the step between blocks and reactions.
For sure, right? But at least it does mean that this at least has an impact on what they've got to do and how they have to act in that regard. You know, it doesn't come as a huge surprise when they throw it in there. But yeah, I don't know. I think this is I think the existence of this card has some amount of effect, and they've got to play around it or be at least expecting it. The fact that it's legendary though does make it a shame because it means that people aren't going to be. The games where it impacts, it'll be great, but it won't come up that often.
Yeah, I mean, that's saying there's no. As much as you've got cards like Remembrance, you can't get reactions, attack, or defense. So there's no, as it stands, there is no way to get this back into your deck. So
I wish there was.
Yeah, maybe Riptide can do it, but imagine that's why it's legendary because you can actually recur traps. But
if it doesn't discard after it's used, it just goes back on the bottom of the deck or something.
Yeah. If this was even possible, man, I'd be like the most hated man alive. I'd love playing this kind of deck if so.
Of course you would.
He absolutely would.
Like I say, I think the ability to disrupt a turn, you might even just snipe something that's, I always use Bolton because it's great for these sort of examples. You do this on a Bolton, you happen to get a turn where they got a Lumen and get wrecked.
Oh yeah, sure. Particularly with Bolton, right? Yeah. He gives the go again in the reaction step. They give the attack go again. You go, in that case, then I guess I'll collapsing trap it. And then obviously they have to get rid of a large portion of the hand after they've charged. So unfortunately, obviously Bolton's not a big part of the matter right now.
But it's that idea of
for sure.
If you can snipe key combo pieces, like we said, you do this against the ninja and you take away the dishonor or the bonds of ancestry. You take away that one key combo piece they need. Like you take away the bonds after they've just gone and fetched it. Or you do it against Dory and you take away the attack reactions they're about to hit you with, and they're kind of just hoping to get the thing that's going to put them over the top.
For sure. I mean, the only thing is with the ninja stuff, like I'm pretty sure they almost always banish when they search, so that wouldn't be affected by this. But obviously, I mean, it would just disrupt their hands if they've been trying to build or hold a turn together. And the fact that this discards as well is pretty huge. I mean, maybe that's the true reason why this isn't a legendary card. Maybe if this was, instead of discard their hand, it was like put to the bottom of their deck or something like that. Maybe this wouldn't be a legendary card. Maybe they're just simply just worried about how much it would mill the opponent.
That's the point I was trying to make. Cool.
Oh yeah, sure.
Well, I think again for me, when this comes up, I think it's going to be incredibly impactful.
Yeah, for sure. But the only thing is, it's also still limited because obviously there's only some matchups where you're going to expect this to get any use.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, even Guardians right now are going three attacks wide at times, but you're still not going to be expecting to get a lot of use out of this in that matchup. No. The only nice thing is it's still a blue, it's still a 3-block. So at the very worst, this can just go in the deck.
So many blue block 3s.
You can just cycle it until the time that you find it and it's useful.
Yeah, I'd say so many blue block 3s in this set. Scott will be going out of his mind. I mean, at least it's a defence reaction. It should kind of block for 3.
Oh, if it's blocked any less than 3, yeah, then.
Well, to be fair, what was it? Was it Rockslide Trap was blocked for 2?
It was 2, but then if they paid 1, the attack got -2.
Yeah,
So
potentially 4.
It could have been
4
at the right time. But I mean, it's just mainly the fact as well. This just doesn't have to be played fast. The errata to the trap keyword, so to speak. You know, the change that keyword, or that now being just a type rather than anything else is huge for traps going forward.
I still just think it's a bit of a shame they didn't errata. Like I say, the old traps just letting be played from hand. They're not great anyway.
I think they would become they'd jump up all of a sudden to being like pretty good cards if you did that. I mean, particularly I think you look at Tripwire would be really playable. Like be really, really good if you could, not amazing, just good. If it was just playable from hand, but sadly those cards are still there. But good news, we're getting some in the Armory kits. You're gonna get rainbow foil ones. So everyone can look forward to that.
In fact, I don't think they're Armory kits. I think they're just giving stores, a bit like Brio.
They're being sent out as part of the Armory kits. Yeah, they're just coming out with it. I don't think they're necessarily part of it. I think each store's getting 12 of each.
Yeah, they're just there to be distributed. I think for people who want them. But
I'll be getting a set.
Yeah. Well, that's all the cards we've got for now. Obviously, we're going to get the heroes are going to be revealed on the 4th, so we'll see the new Uzuri, we'll see Arachne, Riptide, and what they do, and that's when actual spoiler season starts. So, yeah, I think I'm very excited. I think this drip feed of cards we've had has just been enough to keep us excited. I think how Dragon Shield did their kind of reveal and slowly gave us bits of information. And has been really good fun. And like I say, obviously people kind of know what their cards are now, so it's just that stage of waiting and hoping that the cards are just as good as they look. And the fact we know that, I mean, the fact that scared me the most is Arachne's signature weapon, the new Arachne anyway, is the orbital clast. Which for anyone who doesn't know what an orbital clast is, it's the tool they use to do lobotomies with. If anything could make this man, this creepy boy, any creepier, is the fact that he's doing lobotomies on people. Arachne is just, the solitary confinement art is just bleh, but also
he's not somebody you want to be locked in with.
Go on.
No, I was just going to say he's not somebody you want to be locked in a room with at all. Solitary confinement Arachne. But carry on, Liam.
I was about to say, I just fucking love all this grim art, mate.
Yeah.
It's my kind of theme.
It's very good.
The art, this set, I mean, obviously we got Shred, which I still think to this day is like, I saw people got it on playmats. I was like, I just couldn't look at that all day through a tournament. I'd feel sick by the end.
Oh, it'd be brilliant, that.
I know you've always been a big fan, Liam. Was it Mangle, the WTR art that you were also a big fan of?
The guy's holding his head, right? Well, he's just Axe's just going through his body. Oh, mate, it's so good.
Through, yeah.
But you look at like Dishonor. You look at all the spikes and the blood, like with blood rot, when you see all the pustules on the back, and I don't know quite what frailties it looks like, leaves, but like inertia looks like lightning, icy kind of stuff. The art, I think, in this set is going to be particularly dark because I think it reflects the pits. But I mean, they just so rarely miss on the art.
Yeah, the last few sets in particular, they just keep getting better and better. They keep setting the bar incredibly high for themselves with the artwork, and I mean, so far at least they're not disappointing. There's a few bits that I like less than others, but on the whole, they are absolutely killing it.
But yeah, I know a lot of people put their spoilers down. If you do want any more information, FaBrary's got a whole page dedicated to all these spoilers, and a lot of the content creators out there, you know, like the Arsenal Passive guys who said they got one but not sure when, Push the Point, and Hamish and those lot have got them. I know a couple other folks as well, the Living Legends guys. There's going to be so many good videos as well, because you think like DM Armada's reveal video for Arachne, I think that was one of the best done videos I've ever seen, to be honest. And let's just hope we don't stay up until 3 a.m. to see some potions get revealed.
Yeah, well, let's hope for not a repeat of Everfest, but there'll always be some disappointing ones. But I don't know about you lads, but I'm very excited to get back into spoiler season now.
Oh, I'm buzzing. I literally wish it was tomorrow.
Yes, if it could be, I would let's just get started with it right now. I want to see these heroes, what the hero text is on them all as well, and just to get started with it, just get cracking.
But obviously, it is a much shorter season this year.
Yes, so it should be packed.
So it's going to be. I mean, I don't know how I'm going to do any work those days. It's just going to be relentless. It's going to be every other. I think at times it's every hour, every half an hour. Like there's going to be new ones. New cards get released.
You won't have to worry for the first 2 days because it's a Saturday and a Sunday.
This is true.
Yeah, but there's a week then, Liam. So there's going to be stuff going on then, and people scheduling.
You don't work anyway.
If anyone from Brooks's work is listening to this, he does, sort of.
I do. I can promise that I do. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a hell of a week, or 2 weeks. I think is the season, and then it's straight into on the 17th and 18th. We've got the pre-release events, and then 24th the whole set comes out for general sale. So, like I say, just about a month, just under a month to go. So, I cannot wait.
And despite the fact we just had a shake-up, I don't know about you guys, but I'm very ready for a new meta all of a sudden. I'm ready for a new draft set. I'm ready to sit down and play some actually new limited. It's gonna be very exciting.
Yeah, because that's the thing. As much it was a shake-up, it's not particularly changed the meta massively. So
it hasn't, and obviously we didn't get any more limited stuff. So.
I want to see why they think that Guardians had to keep Crown of Seeds.
Yeah, whether we will still have that. Obviously, like we said, we got the next banner restricted announcement. Maybe if things keep going the way they're going, maybe they'll relook at that decision before the set comes around. Who knows?
Who knows indeed. Well, we'll very soon find out. But I think on that bombshell, I think we've covered everything now. So. Unless there's anything else, chaps, I think we're good to let the fine people watching and listening to this, all that, and yeah, all that usual YouTube thing that people say. If you fancy it,
like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, that.
I'll do it for you, Ruggs.
Thanks.
Oh, our social media manager over there.
It's about time you did fucking something, Liam.
Hey, wow! In this episode, you prick.
You've well over quota, so we appreciate the donation of extra words.
End the episode.
I'll press the button. Anyone listening, thank you very much, and we look forward to catching the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.